Okay, so my name is PJ Rasmussen, and I'm here with special guest Steve LaSpina. I ran into Steve at college. He was a professor there, and obviously one of the best bass players around. He played with one of my heroes, Jim Hall, as well as a myriad of others, Stan Getz. Man, you've played with so many people. Who stands out if somebody asks you who's your favorite?
Well, I guess I'd have to say Jim Hall. I spent the most time with him, off and on, about 28 years.
Oh, wow. So when did that start then?
Started in '86.
Okay.
And it was a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw you guys at Birdland with Greg Osby, that quartet.
Right, that was the last group.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing how many different. Jim always seemed to be open to new things. So.
He was very open. He was amazingly open. I mean, and he could play any style, free, bebop, whatever. It was fantastic.
I think that's a really important concept for a lot of people who don't understand about jazz. That it really covers a lot of ground. You might not like one aspect of it, but there's a lot to discover in it. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. There's many different genres, and personally, I have always enjoyed crossing boundaries and playing different genres of jazz.
That's great. That's what the goal of this series is, Boardwalk Jazz, is to prove that anybody can love jazz. You don't have to have a PhD. I feel like jazz gets this stigma that it's an old person's music and you need to go to college to understand it or something.
Well, it's certainly become more academic in the recent years. When I was in school, I got persecuted for playing jazz, and now every college has a jazz program. So things have really changed a lot.
I think it's interesting. I personally think jazz can be relevant to young people. I think the iPod age, I think jazz can still be, an important music again. Would you agree with that?
I certainly hope so. I mean, I think that more and more people that are exposed to it, I'm always surprised how, especially a lot of young people, they're not familiar with live music as much, and especially jazz. And now, jazz has become very popular with cocktail parties and stuff like that, and it's kind of more in vogue now, and that's good to see, because basically I think what we need to do, the most important thing we need to do, is build an audience, and that's what's been lacking the last few years,
Yeah, I think that's beautifully said. The whole point of the series is to build an audience of younger people. I mean, because I'm glad for everybody that loves jazz, and I'm glad for all the listeners who supported it, and people like you who've played it for decades, but I want the 20-year-olds and the college, high school kids, man. I think there's music there to love. And
I agree. So absolutely, and especially acoustic music. I think, and especially getting out and hearing live music, and that's something I think many young people, with the creation of YouTube, forget to go out and hear live music.
Yeah, I always say that listening to a jazz CD is kind of like reading Shakespeare. You can know it's brilliant and know it's beautiful, but when you see it, it's a whole nother thing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like that with live theater, anything, because everything is so digitized today. I just when people go out and hear live music, orchestral music, whatever it is, I think a lot of people are very surprised at how it touches them and how it can affect them.
Yeah. Well, this is Steve LaSpina, one of the true greats on bass, and he's played for a long time, but he's got a lot of years ahead of him. He's got more ahead than behind him, I believe.
I hope so.
Thanks for everything,
PJ.
Steve.
It's been great to be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks.